Members of the Kusaasi community have announced their withdrawal from the Bawku Inter-Ethnic Peace Committee following what they term non-compliance from the Kusaasi Group. In a news conference, a member of the group indicated that they will continue to stay out of the process until the other party shows good faith.
Our group have decided to withdraw from the Bawku Inter-Ethnic Peace Committee because of the following reasons. 1. Our group has been sincere and committed to the work of the committee since its inception in May 2009, whereas our main counterparts in the committee, the Kusaasi Group, have not demonstrated any good faith and commitment in that regard, and as a result, peace has eluded us in Bawku. The current disturbances in Bawku since the last 3 days, leading to the loss of precious innocent lives, is particularly worrisome. 2. The entire committee of the Bawku Inter-Ethnic Peace Committee decided unanimously to execute a program to facilitate the smooth reintegration of all communities in Bawku, especially those previously involved in the bitter conflict. But the Kusaasi community suddenly decided not to be part of it, ostensibly because it was not part of their culture. When they were asked to also add anything from their culture to enhance the program, they refused to pay heed up to this date. This was the burial of the Okro Stick program in local parlance. 3. Additionally, the Nairi, paramount chief of the Mampuruku state, also tried to wade into the situation by claiming a right to enskin a Mampuruku man as Bawku Naba. Now, the Bawku Naba has been on the skin since 1984. That's 38 years ago, in succession to his late father, Abograka Zoka I.
Executive Director of West Africa Center for Counter-Extremism, Mutare Mumuni, now will join us for a conversation on this development. Mumuni, thank you for your time. Welcome to Newsbeat. How does this look like for the Kusaasis withdrawing from the peace process?
Well, it's a very worrying situation that they have withdrawn from the Inter-Ethnic Peace Committee. Of course, this is not the first time, any party has withdrawn from. What has happened clearly shows that it undermines the efforts that would come from that committee's effort in dealing with the crisis in Bawku. But we, at the moment, it is not to, mourn over the withdrawal of their membership of the committee, but we need to take a step back and look at it in a very holistic manner, take a whole picture of the situation in terms of what kind of blueprint can we put together, a roadmap that clearly shows how we deal with the crisis. Of course, at the moment, there's a tendency to talk about the current development, the shootings, the killings, the harm that has caused. But we need to be able to take advantage of what has happened and develop a blueprint that includes all stakeholders and look at all angles to the crisis. All parties around Bawku and outside of Bawku, all actors who have interest in this and what role they are to play in terms of, a blueprint towards crisis resolution of the conflict in Bawku.
Does withdrawing from the process necessarily a declaration of war?
It does not necessarily mean it's a declaration of war. It means just a loss of faith. There's loss of faith in terms of, their support for the committee. They have lost faith because of the things that have happened. I'm not going into the details of what has happened in terms of who are the perpetrators and who are the victims. But one party feels, that they have been, disadvantagedly, represented in the committee. So they have lost faith in the committee, and that has led to the withdrawal. But this is, like I said earlier, this is not the first time we're seeing a withdrawal. What we need to do is to be able to mobilize some sense of goodwill from all parties involved and get together all parties that can put together, a roadmap, a plan that leads to the resolution of the crisis. Look, in the last 2 months, almost 2 months, we have experienced some calm, some, sense of peace in the area. And there was some sense that we are gearing towards a space where we can engage meaningfully towards resolution of the crisis. And this has happened again. And so we need to take a step back and look at all the parties involved, all the angles to the crisis. And other than that, we keep getting back, in circles. Crisis.
And that is to say that we definitely are far from using the right processes in trying to settle those Bawku issues for decades. It doesn't look like we are using the right blueprint, maybe, as you indicated.
No, what is happening now is the blueprint for dealing with the Bawku crisis. A blueprint is a document, a roadmap that shows clearly what this crisis is about, who are the parties involved, what are the stakeholders, what role are they playing in it, direct and indirectly, and what are the timeline, what are the plans in terms of resolution of the conflict, short-term, immediate-term, mid-term, medium-term solutions, and long-term solutions. The roadmap would have timelines and everybody's role in achieving these timelines, and will eventually get to the resolution of the crisis. As we speak now, we do not have that. If we had that, all stakeholders involved, both state and non-state, non-state stakeholders, including individuals, would find a space where they get to operate, where they get to play their roles and lead us to the resolution of the crisis.
So let me put this across. There's been a number of court rulings over this Bawku crisis on maybe different factions and factors of the conflict. Why is it becoming so difficult for us to apply the court's rulings?
As you know, if you realize the complexities relating to chieftaincy ethnic conflict and the sensitivities around it, it goes beyond judicial decisions. And so you need to go beyond that to include all other peace-building mechanisms, the diplomacy that ensures that all stakeholders are satisfied with the steps and with the measures put in place. As we speak now, we do not have consensus around anything in terms of the efforts around resolving the conflict. Like, I go back to the blueprint document I talk about. Without a blueprint, it is difficult for us to harmonize efforts in terms of resolving the crisis. What we are doing now is reactionary. It is, just when things happen, trying to resolve it. And once there's some sense of stability, we go back to normalcy and everything goes our way until we need a blueprint document now.
Right, Executive Director of West Africa Center for Counter-Extremism, Mutar Mumuni Muktha, speaking to us there on the development with the Bawku. We'll bring you some more update later as and when. But